Welcome to Keeping It Current, your 4-minute source of information covering what is happening at Potatoes USA and within the U.S. potato industry. John Toaspern will join us today to discuss the supply and utilization study that has been recently completed. This is the annual report that helps us better understand where and how potatoes are being used in the United States and a fundamental part of our strategic decisions on program activities.
Thank you, Blair. With everything that has occurred this past marketing year, it is very important for us to understand what has happened with the sales of potatoes in the U.S. market and how the crop was utilized. Based on an analysis of potatoes and products sold at retail and food service and accounting for the volume of U.S. exports and imports, there was a 5% decline in the utilization of potatoes grown in the U.S. during the July 2019 through June 2020 marketing year. This decline occurred despite the 9% increase in sales through retail, as the 13% reduction in sales to the food service sector and the 2% decline in exports was greater than the retail sales growth. In terms of utilization of the U.S. crop, the decline was further compounded by the 7% increase in imports. It's important to note that this decline occurred at the end of the marketing year, as sales to both food service and retail, as well as exports, were up for the July through December 2019 period. The disruptions to the food service market and loss of exports this past spring resulted in roughly 1.5 million pounds of potatoes being diverted from the market through donations, giveaways, cattle feed, and in some cases even destruction. Frozen continues to be the largest use of U.S. grown potatoes, accounting for 40%, with fresh at 25% and chips at 23%. For marketing year 20, chips picked up 2 percentage points, one from frozen and one from fresh, while dehy remained at 8%. For the last 10 years or more, food service sales have been accounting for a greater and greater share of total potato sales in the U.S., peaking at 59% in marketing year 2019. This trend was reversed in marketing year 20, with the food service share dropping to 53% of the total. The spike in retail sales of potatoes this past spring was truly amazing, and increased sales have continued. In fact, total potato sales from mid-March through November 1st are up 20% over the same time period in 2019. For the full marketing year, retail sales were up 8.7%, an increase of 1.3 million pounds. From a percentage basis, frozen and dehy saw the largest growth, up 15%. The largest volume category at retail, which of course is potato chips, increased by 5.5%, and fresh was up 9.5% for the marketing year. The disruption in the food service sales was truly unprecedented, but was also very uneven, with sales of fries through quick service restaurants being impacted the least. The hardest hit was the beyond restaurant sector, made up of cafeterias, hotels, stadiums, and other institutions. This carried over to an uneven impact on the sales of potato types and products to food service for the marketing year, ending in June. With limited service restaurants being impacted the least, sales of frozen was only down 10%. However, since full service restaurants suffered a much greater decline in sales, fresh sales to food service were down 19%. With so much uncertainty remaining in the marketplace, and the timing and pace of a recovery very much up in the air, we at Potatoes USA will continue to monitor and report out on the market in our weekly emails. But if you still have questions or need more information, please feel free to reach out to me at any time. Thank you very much for listening, and please take care.
Thank you, John, for an excellent report. While we all witnessed the significant spike in retail sales of potatoes this past spring, it is really good to see consumers are continuing to purchase potatoes well past the initial panic related to the COVID-19 outbreak. I am hopeful these increases will be maintained well into the future. Thank you for watching this episode of Keeping It Current. Until next week, keep your heads high and your thoughts kind. Potatoes, real food, real performance.